All right, so in roughly 6 weeks' time, yeah, roughly 6 weeks, we have one of the most anticipated fights of the year. I mean, literally, we do. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford. It will be on Netflix, so it's quite crazy, really. I mean, Netflix have done two shows. There was done the Kay Taylor Amanda Serrano trilogy fight last month. Was it last month? Yeah, it was last month. Did that last month, and then prior to that, they did Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Let's forget about that. This is better. This is a much better fight. This is better than both cards. The only thing about Canelo versus Crawford, well, we can talk more about Canelo Crawford as a whole the closer we get to it in terms of breaking the fight down, stuff like that. I've nothing against the fight personally. I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm desperately looking forward to it. But one thing that it kind of struck me today really was that, hang on a minute, we haven't heard anything about the undercard. I mean, we've heard rumors about the undercard. This person might be on it, this person, etc., etc., etc. But ultimately, we haven't heard anything, and that is a bit of a worry. Now, I knew with the kickoff press conferences they done, three of them, I believe, it was all going to be about Crawford Canelo. They did all the media work, they did all the PR, they did all that. It was the Canelo Crawford show. They didn't need to announce the undercard because, quite frankly, it would have just fell flat on its face because of the magnitude of the fight. You know, everyone wanted to see Canelo Crawford, they wanted to see the press conferences, etc., etc., etc. So I get you wouldn't announce the undercard then and there when you're announcing the fight because it's the Canelo Crawford show. It really is. Now, some of us were worried that when they announced this fight, that it was kind of, I don't want to say it was implied, because no, not necessarily, but some people were worried that maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be a particularly stacked undercard. You know, historically, Canelo Alvarez undercards haven't been stacked. You'd be hard pushed to find one where it really was. You might see Canelo undercards with decent names on it, but are they in competitive fights? I remember when he fought Triple G the second time. David Lemieux, Spike O'Sullivan was an alright fight, ended in the first round though. You had Chocolatito, he fought way down the undercard, he knocked the guy out in a couple of rounds. Jaime Munguia I think he fought a guy called Brandon Cook, knocked him out in a couple of rounds. See, you've never heard of the opponents for the most part, alright? So, you know, in terms of Canelo Alvarez undercards, they're either completely dead, or the names as such that are on it, they're really in one-sided fights. One of the exceptions being, obviously, his previous card, which, the less that's said about that, the better. Him against Skull. Less said about that fight, the better. It wasn't a terrible undercard, but it wasn't great at the same time. This one, we don't officially know about it yet, but there is a rumoured running card, or there is a rumoured undercard that's doing the rounds. And now if this is the undercard, if this right here is what we are going to get for Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, currently there's only 4 fights penciled in, and whether these fights are announced or not is made to be seen. Canelo Crawford being one of them. Christian Mbele versus Lester Martinez. Now I'm getting this off X. It's being reported by Mo Boxing, Mo Problems with Zuffa Boxing, I think is how that is. I'm seeing it doing the rounds a lot on X. Christian Mbele, Lester Martinez. Christian Mbele, we know he's been in there with the likes of Mark Jeffers. Who else? He's beaten. Did he fight not Dobyshenko? What was his name? Dobyshenko's a heavyweight. Can't think of his name now. It escapes my mind. It's gone. It's gone. Fought Triple G, fought Danny Jacobs, fought Charlo. It's gone. But that's Christian Mbele. Lester Martinez fought Carlos Gongora in a recent fight, beat him, big puncher. I think I forget where he's from actually, Carlos Gongora. Could be Venezuelan, but South America, kind of Central South America, thereabouts. That's a really, really good fight. Both are unbeaten. Christian Mbele throws a lot of punches. He's very entertaining. That's actually a really, really good fight. Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. Callum Walsh is, I think he's from Dublin. Pretty sure Callum Walsh is from Dublin, if I'm not mistaken. And if you haven't seen him, he's actually working a lot with Dana White. Well, I think he's promoted by Dana White. And is Callum Walsh from Dublin? He's actually from Cork. Oh, I don't know why I thought he was from Dublin. Because he fought in Dublin last year. So he's from Cork, actually. Interesting. Tremendous talent. Very fast. Huge puncher is Callum Walsh. If you've not seen him, massive puncher is Callum Walsh. He really is. Rumoured to be in there with Fernando Vargas Jr. He actually fought on Paddy's Day. He fought in MSG in, I think he fought in it was definitely the Theatre Hall. And he fought a guy from Scotland, knocked him clean out cold in the first round. When he fought in Dublin, he fought in the Tree Arena about September last year, right? And he fought a guy Josh Kelly went the distance with a couple of years ago. Now, Kelly really didn't have many problems with him, but one left hook from Callum Walsh in the second round, and that was all she wrote. So he's been looking really, really good. And given the fact that he fights on these UFC Fight Pass shows, which is what they're called, works with Dana White, I don't know, like, would you class Dana White as his promoter? Because this is, quote unquote, according to Dana White, his first boxing show, even though I'd count the ones he's doing with the likes of Callum Walsh as boxing shows. So he's rumoured to be on the undercard against Fernando Vargas Jr. Callum Walsh is a tremendous talent. He really is. Don't sleep on him. He is right up there with Paddy Donovan in terms of Irish fighters, I believe. Right, tremendous talent, really is. And then the final fight that's rumoured here is a fight that we have heard rumours about. It's the battle of the big babies. Jared Anderson versus Jarrell Big Farmer Miller. That fight right there, you know, you got to put a heavyweight. And I think that's something that Turkey is doing a lot of. You know, if a heavyweight fight is a main event in it, it tends to be on the undercard because Turkey is not stupid. Turkey knows. He does, and he's learning from Frank Warren as well. He knows, if in doubt, heavyweights. It's true though, isn't it? You know, you put a heavyweight fight, a decent heavyweight fight as well, on a card, that's it. We're interested. That's a good fight. Anderson, listen, I haven't agreed. I really haven't agreed with how they've managed Jared Anderson's career. And I wonder how much of a say in Bob Arum has in it at the end of the day. Because his career trajectory 2 years ago, they put him in with Charles Martin. He won the fight, but he had a couple of moments in it. And they brought him back down a bit, gradually stepped him up. And I didn't really have a problem with them dropping him down. At the end of the day, he's still quite young for a heavyweight. So, you know, you can have a year of learning again and then bring him back. All right, even though he didn't lose to Charles Martin, but you know what I mean? It just a little bit too much too soon. He got through it, but let's just take one half step back and take a big step forward. And then they put him with Martin McCody. And then he gets annihilated. And that was I was going to say in shape, but not really in shape, but a more prepared Martin McCody, let's just say that. And I think that set Anderson back a long way. Because he fought back in February, he did not look good. Did not look good at all. Now, he needs rehab. He needs to be brought along slowly. He needs to be built back up. Putting him in there against Big Farmer is not exactly what I would be planning in terms of rehab. See, it's not like Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois quit against Dusek in the first fight. Frank put him in at the deep end. He was able to weather a small storm from Big Farmer Miller, but he was able to land his shots and take him out. Dubois, it's a harder one with Dubois because I think Dubois, once he's comfy, even if you're putting it on him, he's willing to just go in there and trade it up. Anderson, he's talked about how he wanted to get out of boxing before he's 27. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there, and I don't know if that's the right fight for him. But it's a flipping intriguing fight nonetheless. I will be locked onto that fight 110%. I'd be making Miller firm favourite. Firm favourite in that fight. I really would be. Has Miller fought? Actually, he hasn't fought in a year, hasn't he not? He hasn't fought since the Ruiz fight, which he was unlucky not to get the decision, and I thought he won that fight. I know he's had promotional issues and stuff like that. He was meant to fight Fabio Wardley, actually, instead of Justice Sooney. That would have been a humdinger of a fight if that had happened. If this is the rumoured, if it was a rumoured undercard, I have to point that out. It is rumoured, but we tend to, when we get leaks about these undercards, they tend to be pretty spot on. If that is the undercard, that's a pretty damn good undercard. And it's on Netflix. Can't really complain. It's on Netflix. I'm liking it. I am liking it. If that is the undercard, I hope we get it. Because that really Canelo Crawford is a fight in which I will happily stay up and watch. I'll do a watch along. I'll do the whole 9 yards for it. It warrants it. That undercard is great as well. Really is. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on that. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. If you could, smash the like button. hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And as always, I'll leave it there. Peace.